Welcome to AEC Stories. This is former SM3 Dempsey. This is the weekend bonus round with former BM3 Teresi, a member of my Gray Yacht Club.
This is former shit, man.
Well, we still carry our rates? You've been wearing it around. Did you get your petty officer and anchor logo on your arm?
Mine's on my ankle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get any tattoos. I don't know. I'm not afraid of them. I worked out. I always felt like I'm going to stretch them out. And back when we were in the Navy, getting tattoos, we were the taboo people. And today everybody gets tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, my grandpa had lots of tattoos from the Navy. He had pigs on the top of his feet and butterflies on the bottom of his feet.
Oh, how interesting. What did that symbolize?
I believe it had something to do with him boxing. He was the middleweight or light heavyweight champ in the Navy.
Okay. Did we have any boxing smokers on the ship during the World Tour or anything? Because there wasn't anyone I was on.
No. If we did, they were all held in private, and it was for a different reason.
Disciplinary boxing tournaments. I get it.
Yes. They were more of a encouragement counseling session. You know? Encourage your fellow sailor to bathe on a regular basis, or this could happen to you.
Well, did you know that there was that place over on Treasure Island? It was called TMU or PMU or something like that, where it was like extra military instruction. Like if they felt you were a dirtbag, you didn't bathe properly, you didn't keep your uniform clean, you disobeyed orders.
I heard about it? I never got to go to it. Now, in basic, I got sent to the extra physical instruction twice a day. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Just because I'm me.
Yeah, well, you learn to love that stuff, though. I get sent to,
and they got you out of doing all the other stupid shit.
Well, I get sent there because I was overweight, but I was in better shape than everybody there.
Yeah, I was overweight then, but not like now.
Oh yeah, now we're like the Girth Masters Club. It's that's what sailors become: old, husky old men that have an attitude, and I don't know. We're the Cadillacs of the couch, the luxury division. But maybe I'll turn that around. I got to work on the fitness. Yeah, some guys are still hitting it, you know?
Huh? Yeah, I do too, desperately. I want to get a new bike that I can ride longer distances.
Are bicycles easier on you?
For some reason, it is on my back. It actually helps me with my back. It's depending on I have to ride the right style of bike in order for it to be good. And the beach cruiser style.
Beach cruiser?
Because you sit more or less straight up with the lighter bars in. I've got one now that's just a single speed that I've had for a few years. My son got it for my birthday a few years back. But I want another one that's basically just like the one I have now, except it has 7 gears and handbrakes.
Yeah, and you don't want to have to do that back brake.
Yeah, the metal fenders over the wheels so you don't get water thrown up on you when you ride.
Yeah.
The older I get, the less I like it dirty in that fashion.
Well, bicycles, I guess the upright's a better position. Same with motorcycles. I mean, I got out of the Navy because of a motorcycle wreck, but definitely, I don't know. I feel like that when you ride a crotch rocket, when you're leaning forward, it's really hard on your back long distance rides versus an upright motorcycle, which I preferred.
Like a big fat boat or saddlebag bike.
Oh, yeah. There's a reason why people have those, but don't give me ape hangers, man. I don't want to be. That's a different strain. One of our shipmates really likes those. Hildebrandt. He's I
can see him riding with ape hangers though, because he kind of is an ape hanger. Hell of a guy.
Well, you guys were in deck together, right?
Yeah, he was the first division. I was the second, so we were in competing divisions.
It's interesting because he went to gunner's mate, and so was another guy I just did a podcast with the other day, Jay Ortega. But they were trying to get into gunner's mate, but they were like, they were fed the story from the recruiter, like, oh, you can strike, you could just shop around, like whatever you want to be.
I got that story so hard it hurt.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, the gunner's mates, they worked hard too. It's not like they went to a super easy division. It wasn't a cakewalk for sure.
Well, and they were doing away with a lot of the gunner's mate guns. and everybody was going to gunner's mate missiles.
Okay. It was interesting because they said it was a closed rate, so you had to try to strike. There's some things you couldn't just strike on a ship. You couldn't just say, "Oh, I want to be a cryptographer."
Right.
Like, good luck. You'd have to get accepted to an A school, score exceptionally well in your ASVAB and all that. I don't know, but I don't know. You went to deck willingly and wantingly, and it seems like
you do, because when you think about it, there's no other job on the ship that does as much and has as much diversity as deck did. I mean, we're on every facet of the boat. We did something.
Well, you learned how to steer the ship, how to fix the ship, how to repair the ship, how to weigh the anchor, how to moor the ship.
Oh, yeah.
That was a real sailor job,
People don't realize that, you tie up into a port under, there's some wind blowing. It takes more than just a bunch of, grunting apes to, tie the lines off.
No.
You got the foul weather lines, which are braided steel cables. And you have to know, how much tension to put on what and where at what time. And God forbid the idiot that steps across the line under tension when that line decides to pop. Because I've watched 3 and 4 inch lines go down to inch and a quarter before, and creaking, cracking so bad that it scared the hell out of everybody.
Well, that was like there was that one Navy safety video, which was much like that old car driving video, "Blood on the Highway." This is why you should drive safe. But like people getting their legs chopped off from those cables if they just snapped, or their torsos ripped in half.
Well, the movie A Few Good Men with Cuba Gooding and Robert De Niro.
Oh, where he's trying to become a diver. Yeah.
Well, he was a diver, but got his leg cut off from a line under tension. Yeah. But he was the first amputee to go back in the Navy. Now, the Air Force had pilots coming back. But that was a little different. They didn't need to have the dexterity that a Navy diver would.
Yeah.
It took him. It was really tough for me to get back in. And I absolutely love that movie, especially because of the parts when they, are talking about naval tradition. Because, being 6th generation in my family, that's all I was ever taught was naval tradition.
Yeah. No, I watched that movie too. It was a good movie. It was very heartfelt. I mean, that guy struggled. He went through a lot. He was really up against all odds to become a diver.
Everybody except for his former Master Chief, is against him.
Yeah. It was a tough time. But, back to steering the ship and all that, when did you guys get into that part of it? I mean,
as soon as you go out to sea, you get put into, watch rotation. And the deck stands all of the lookout watches, except for besides signaling.
Right.
We had the main lookout watches, fantail. After steering, if the steering went out, if the helm went out, then you could steer from below decks. And then the port starboard lookouts. You had bosun mate of the watch, and then you had a guy on the helm and a guy on the engine controls. A guy on the board, to update all the contacts. But it varies on the size of the ship you're on, how many watch people there are. Smaller ships, of course, didn't need that many guys on watch at one time.
Did you guys get some nautical training once you get on board, like, bearings and all that other stuff, or?
To an extent, it was mainly for when you were standing lookout watches. I've got a contact at however many yards or miles or on the horizon, or if it was an air contact, you learn to put level your hand out and use your pinky would be the horizon, and then that would be position angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if it was an air contact,
I remember we were doing.
That's not real difficult to figure out.
I remember we were doing ref trade. We were doing some training that simulated attack in San Diego, and that friggin' what was that F-16 or something?
Came out in the little boats, and the swift boats would come out and screw with you at night.
Yeah,
that's cool. Those guys were cool.
We caught everybody.
we did. Yeah.
We were not like taking like, oh my gosh, who's that walking on my ship? With
you remember we knocked one of the guys off the boat with a fire hose?
No.
Caught him just square. They caught the guy just square in the face and it knocked him over the side.
Was this on the fantail or was the side of the side deck?
It was off the port side. I can't remember who was on the who was on the nozzle of the hose thing, just hit this guy. It's like he peeked his head up at the wrong second. 1 second later, he would have been okay. But it flipped him like twice in the air, and over the side he went.
He gets zonked. What a beautiful,
they're so fast. He wasn't in the water long.
Yeah. Well, they're pretty hardy dudes. Yeah. So he was, I figured they would have approached from the fantail or the flight deck because that's easier to climb up the ship. I mean, just from.
It got really foggy there every night while we were there. So it was to their advantage.
It did get foggy. And I remember that jet flew down and it looked like it was just hovering there. It was amazing. Yeah. And then it kicked on the afterburners and I just had to flash my, flashing light at it. I'm simulating a gun.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he was on starboard lookout. And we were out at sea, and it was one of the planes where the Kitty Hawk came by. Well, you didn't hear it until it already passed you. And all of a sudden, all you hear from him was like, "Yo, bridge, plane," and boom. Then you heard it would pop when it went by. And it was too late. You couldn't even see it by that point.
Oh, those planes just came in like huge, like flying dragons, man. They were amazing. Just sat there like, haha, I could take you out whenever I want to. Good luck. What are you going to do? Pull out a 45 or an M14 shotgun?
No way, no.
You weren't even in range with a shotgun. I don't know what you were going to do with that.
You couldn't match the speed by then.
No.
In World War II, we had the advantage that planes were a bit slower. So, the anti-aircraft guns, those gunners had a little more advantage than we would nowadays.
Yeah. Do you remember those? I don't know if your microphone's far from your mouth. You sound a little lower today for some reason, but.
How about now?
That's okay.
That's better?
I think so.
I had it down because I thought it was ringing last time.
Could be the volume.
It could be.
Okay. Don't worry, people. We just do this. We're sailors. We're not professional broadcasters.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
All right.
I just needed that bass, baby. It keeps me motivated.
I didn't realize it was turned down to about 12.
Well, also being a bosun's mate. So you guys also ran the small boats, the Liberty boats, the rescue boats. You guys had a lot of different.
The officer's gig. We actually water skied behind that captain's gig.
Did you really?
San Francisco, in the van. We were dry docked over there, or tied up, living on the barge.
Really?
They put a new engine and blower on captain's gig. And we actually got that sucker going fast enough finally to pull this water ski.
How fast would those things go? Like 25 knots or something? 30 knots?
If that in the beginning. We got the captain's gig, I think. Those are big, heavy fiberglass boats. I think we got that about 35 knots. Once we put the blower on.
I don't know if your microphone's away from your mouth or something.
Hang on. You're a picky bitch today.
I'm being a little picky. Well, I want people to hear you because I won't be able to hear you if I do the podcast.
Is that any better? Well, I can't. My voice is screwed up as it is. So this is about as loud as I talk.
Okay.
Here, I can do the echo chamber. Is that any better?
Oh, wow. You sound like a deep-voiced woodsman.
Don't do it.
Well, sorry, guys. This is just part of it.
I just finished reading an article about Bonnie Rod a few minutes ago. So what you were going to say just wouldn't go right now. I'll leave it up to the listeners to figure out who that is and why I said that.
You talk about those Liberty boats. We used to have Liberty boats for a variety of reasons because what we carried on our ship, and we couldn't just pull pierside anywhere, so we'd have to either ride the boat, like especially in Hawaii, because we were at the ammo base, so there was
so far away,
So we would go across Pearl Harbor, but I remember one night being on the Liberty boat coming back from partying downtown, and we ran aground on a coral reef.
That was in Guam.
Was that Guam?
And Driver was steering the boat at the time.
Okay.
Darren Driver was his name.
His name was Driver. People had some funny names. There was
he was a driver. It was what was his name? Come on. He was a BM3. I can't remember his name for the life of me. I remember Driver was with him
Okay.
She ran aground on the reef, and that coral just ripped the side of that boat apart.
Well, we were in one. I'd been drinking, and I see guys jump out the side of the boat, and they're standing on top of the water like they were walking on water at night. It was an optical illusion. They were standing on coral, basically.
Yeah, killing the reef more.
Yeah. And then they shoved the boat off of there, and we were back underway again. I was like, what the hell?
It was actually a big deal. If you hit the reef, you had to report it and all kinds of stuff to the harbor because it had been hit so many times. It was
right.
dying off. So they were very adamant about doing everything under your control not to hit it.
So true. It was, I don't know. Did you guys have some like little map guides like the corals over here, or it's just like luck of the draw?
Yeah, they give you a little map when you pull aboard the harbor master. The guy.
Tugmaster, harbor master.
The pilot that comes on board when you pull into any port like that, he gave us maps of the channel to come in, which way we're supposed to go. Some people could read, I guess. But
yeah, that was a strange thing to happen.
Well, remember, there were times like when we were in Karachi, Pakistan, but we didn't have Liberty, so the carrier used our Liberty boats to take their guys ashore for Liberty. We had to stay out farther.
Oh, that's not fair.
No, that sucked ass. It was so pissed.
We supersede you in rank, so we need you to take our guys to Liberty. What the hell is that?
Yeah. I don't remember if that was before or after Africa, where we got the fight with the Wabash.
Oh, you guys got to fight.
Oh, dude. Oh, God, it was bad.
What happened there?
Good. About 3 sea blocks were knocked down.
So was the Wabash, what kind of ship was that?
An AO.
An AO, an oiler tender thing?
Yeah. So there's no more just AOs, no more AEs, and no more just AFS. They're all one ship now. Or at least that's what they're going to. I know there's a couple already in service. But they're supposed to be building some more. They're absolutely enormous store ships. Fuel, ammunition, supplies, food. You name it, it's on that boat. Those are the boats to be on because you never would go without anything. You never not be able to get it because you're the one supplying everybody else. So, of course, everybody on that ship gets all the good stuff first. Everybody else is leftovers. Oh, we're sorry. We don't have any flight boots in your size. So you're just going to have to either resole them yourself or, work the flight deck holes.
Well, the tenders had it nice, man. They had nice mess decks. It was nice accommodations, big wide passageways, hallways.
I was supposed to go to a tender after I was going to go to the USS Proteus. It was a sub-tender in Guam, and I believe they told me it was the oldest active ship in the Navy at the time.
Oh, wow.
It was
the Proteus.
It was like a World War I holdover, I think. Yeah, it was an old thing just kept getting refitted. From what I understood was it had a hard time getting underway to get out of the way of the storm. And that was about the only time they took it to sea.
Sounds impressive. What a name. The Proteus. I'm on the Proteus. Sounds like a spaceship. But probably wasn't. So how did you guys end up getting in a fight with the Wabash?
Just the same way we got in a fight with the other ships in the Philippines. We were on different ships, and we were in the Navy, and we consumed alcohol, and the rest is history.
Yeah, back then it wasn't a threat of a bad guy. It was a threat of your own Navy, right?
Well, I mean, that's just classic, that all through history,
It's like warring fraternities,
There's a John Wayne did one where he was in the Navy, he was always fighting. Steve McQueen did a really good one. I can't remember the names of them.
Yeah.
A few times. But they were great movies.
Well, there's some good movies. Have you ever watched The Last Detail with Jack Nicholson?
Yes.
Where he's the friggin' brig chaser signalman.
Right, yep. Yeah. And there was Cinderella Liberty. That was another one.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I like The Last Detail better, not because of his rating. I just like the acting better. But then there was that Steve McQueen movie where he was like in China on a ship.
On that. It was like an old yacht converted into a river boat, patrol boat.
Yeah.
With John Wayne with Blood on the Water, and he was in China. Another one, they sunk had all the locals fill the harbor with like a line of rocks, build some of them when the Chinese ships would come in, they bought them out. That was a good one. Mr. Roberts is one of the funniest movies ever made.
Mr. Roberts, is that a Navy movie?
Yeah, it was the one where what was the actor's name? He was used to play an old gangster.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, look it up. But that look it up. Hilarious. It was hilarious except till the end.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Oh, it's
Pink Submarine.
there was definitely some good Navy movies, but there haven't been a lot of them. The only interesting movie Navy wise has been Battleship, which I liked.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a little far-fetched, but it was a good movie.
A little sci-fi.
Yeah, well, I like if you watch how they make it, it was kind of cool seeing the things, how they did a lot of it with the battleships there.
Mr. Roberts was Henry Fonda and James Cagney.
Yes. If you haven't seen that, you've got to watch it. I've got it on DVD or somewhere. It's hilarious. Jack
Lemmon, James Cagney, William Powell, War Bond, and Henry Fonda.
Yeah, Jack Lemmon's about 20 years old in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Most people picture him in grumpy-old men. But
right.
He's like 20 years old and looks, he's just a kid in the movie.
There needs to be more sailor movies. I mean, that's part of why I made the podcast, because our stories got to live. They're interesting. It's like, hey, all these great stories have been pushed aside. Yeah. And then a lot of stuff we watch today is just a revamped version of six other movies ago. Yeah, right?
That's all they do. Did you see Act of Valor, the movie that SEALs made with using SEALs? Yeah, I liked that one. That was a good one. And
that's pretty cool.
That is so possible, that happening. It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know how many tunnels they've found so far, but I was reading today we were starting to find all kinds of weapons and ammo caches all up and down on the Mexican side of the Rio, across Texas, all over the place. So something is in the network.
Well, the cartel's got money. They're creative. They hire tunnelers. I mean, it's no joke.
Well, they've got some fantastically engineered tunnels there.
Well, we're talking about 15 years ago. This gal that used to do tours at Copper Canyon, Texas. She told me about these tunnels. It did not exist in the news. Nobody else had that intel. And she was, Latina American, and she spoke the language and heard what the locals were saying. That she's like, yeah, they just drive trucks right underground into the United States full of drugs, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I saw pictures of one that was so well engineered. I mean, it had air, mechanical ventilation and lighting. They could either run small rail cars down the center of it, or they could just drive a vehicle through it. And it opened up into a warehouse in San Diego somewhere.
It was crazy. I mean, take the El Chapo motorcycle tunnel out of the jail.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably had them. They're probably just showing us the small ones just to do a sleight of hand, while we're over focused on the small tunnels, and they're just smuggling drugs through in deuce and a halfs underground.
Well, that's the classic. Any kind of gets the upper hand. It's a sleight of hand trick. Make them think you're doing this, but you're actually doing something 3 steps down the line.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you being a cop up there in Oregon, did you run into any crazy people like that?
Oh, you always find crazy people from whatever.
Well, you find the underbelly that you didn't think existed, or you're like, oh, was there anything ever surprising? Like, oh, that's worse than I thought.
You tend to run into things that make you say, what the fuck? You just can't. It's hard to get your mind to be able to wrap around certain things that make human beings capable of doing what they do to each other.
Right.
Because there are things that I maybe not personally seen, read about, heard about, or things that I have seen that you just step back and to this day, you still have a hard time processing certain things. It's like, how could that person do this to another living person?
Right.
It's kind of like that website I told you I ran across the cartel website, where they were showing, what they do when they capture people from each other's group or their families.
Right.
It was some of the hardest things I've ever watched. Like, my God.
Well, I mean, this stuff's been going on for centuries. It's just that now to be a bad guy, you have to up like, we'll shoot you and rip off your nose. We'll do this, we'll do that.
They very rarely shoot.
We'll feed you to sharks and have snakes eat your body. Whatever. It's always like one-upmanship.
Dismembering people while they're alive, and it was it was tough to watch for a while. That kind of stuff used to not bother me, but it does now.
I don't need to watch any of that if I don't have to.
Well, when you see who they do it to and what they do to, doesn't matter how old you are, you could be a matter of weeks old, and they will do something pretty horrific to you.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that there are that many people in the world that can do that kind of thing so easily. And
right.
it's like they were born, to do that job. And it's like, whoa.
Well, let's look at something simpler. I mean, since we're talking about crime and all that stuff, remember the mafia, part of becoming a mobster in the Italian mob was that you had to make your bones. You had to shoot somebody to get in. So basically, you just had to become a killer, and there was no question about it.
Right. Well,
it's like, how did everybody had it in them just to become that,
Yeah. Well, the original motto is the things that we do. They don't talk about them. They just call it the things that we do.
Right.
And that kind of it just encompassed everything into, one. And you don't want to know the things that we do. It's like that commercial that was out for a while. How you doing? Oh, you don't want to know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange world we live in. I mean, the military is one version of the violence. There's always some kind of somebody against somebody, and that's why you get cops. That's why you get the military.
There always has been. There always will be.
That's why people hate the cops. They hate the military. They hate both sides. They love them. They hate them. It's like you're never going to have a point on this planet where everybody's just at peace with each other. It can't exist.
No. Like I said, I don't think I can think of a single time in history that I've ever heard about where there was not a conflict going on somewhere in the world between somebody.
It could be as simple as that guy has more cheeseburgers than us. Let's take him out. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Wars have been started over the dumbest things.
Well, it's the haves and the have-nots. It's the antagonizing. It's somebody challenging your beliefs. It's, it goes in circles, man.
Right.
But that's why we had a job, because we had to be a police force for our country, which is the closest thing to a dream place to live.
Yeah, we were the police force for most places in the world, because we could put a fighting force on station within 24 to 36 hours anywhere in the world that we wanted.
Yeah. That's so true, though. And the Navy was a bigger deal than I realized when I get out. I'm like, doesn't the Army do that job? Well, they can't do the job till the Navy does their job,
At one time, the Army had more ships under their command than the Navy did. The Navy had more aircraft under their command. The Air Force did. It was kind of weird.
That's an interesting fact.
Well, all of the old mothball ships I was sold at one point were under control of the Army in case they had to be called up to transport troops and equipment.
Because that's before they started using planes to transport them, right?
Right, yeah. So, I don't know how long ago this was, but the person
pre-mass airborne infantry.
Yeah, the person that told me was a Master Chief. He had been in the Navy longer than I've been alive twice, so I believe him.
No, it's right. If you watch those old World War II movies, those were like Army ships that was taking the Army The infantry. That's the only way they were going to get the infantry flight.
Like the Queen Mary. Hell, it's a hotel and museum now, but in Long Beach, but it was a troop transport, and they had anti-aircraft guns on it for a while.
What are the rooms like on the Queen Mary?
They're smaller stateroom type, but that's not the lure to the Queen Mary now is a haunted attraction. And, I've seen videos and stuff that people film. There's some weird shit that happens on that boat.
Well, they say the same thing about the Hornet, that it's got a haunted side to it, too.
Right. I think most ships do. Especially the older the ship is, that went through some type of world conflict, you're going to have something, whether it's just something that creaks and messes with your mind and makes you think you saw or heard something, or whether there is actually something there. Yeah.
True.
It's got to be all kind of.
All the energy that's trapped in that ship.
And if you look through the name, one of the classic stories is, especially on supply type ships, every ship, this yard worker got his head cut off, this hole by the elevator. I don't know how many times I heard that story from guys from different boats. And it was always the same story, just with a different ship name.
Right. The old urban legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't get any ghost stories like that. My only fun I had was sea bats. How suddenly there's this creature. I'm like, that doesn't make much sense. I mean, a sea bat, where's it going to park at night during the day? What tree does it hang off of? They just stay in flight during the daytime? I don't see them. So, we're 1,000 miles away from shore. How does it just get up at night and cruise out here? And where's it hang out, man? Is there some floating?
And they hatch while you're at sea.
Yeah, they hatch where you're at sea. Oh, were they supposed to be living on the ship?
They just lived in the port where your home port at,
Oh, yeah, they just followed you. They had endless flight time. I could never see them with the big eyes during the day, but boy, at nighttime, they sure popped up.
I wish I had a pair of those.
What's that?
The big binoculars that you guys had.
Oh, we had those were 20 powered. Those are the big eyes.
Yeah, those are great. I'd love to get some.
You can buy them for about 10 grand online, or a used one for like 3,800. I saw.
Yeah, I can pass on that part, but if somebody wants to give me a pair, I'll take it.
Yeah. Please give Dave a pair of big eyes if you have some laying around. 65-pound binoculars.
That's cheap.
I used to look up at the moon and see the craters in it with those.
Yeah.
That was a cool job. That was the cool part of my job. Put on the big eyes.
Yeah, every time I was messenger of the watch, I like mid watch. I'd spend my whole time, an hour up there looking through this.
Oh, that's the funny thing. I remember we were in port and they were building these condos in San Francisco, and we had the big eyes. So people became voyeurs. So one day this guy's like, "Ooh, I caught this couple going at it." And, all of a sudden their heads come up and it's two guys. He's like, "Ah!" He was in shock. I was like, "Man, you're going to get addicted to this." I think that was like the internet, I guess. You were just too much of a voyeur,
Yeah. I mean, that's part of being a human being with the capabilities of vision.
True.
To look at things. And everybody likes to look at something different.
Well, the sea bats, one time we had a Halloween party on the ship, which is not really much of a party, but that means they decorated the mess decks.
Right.
And basically there was this huge, big black rubber bat. And I said, "Ooh, this is a convincing sea bat." I took it upstairs to the signal bridge. And then I get this like really thin thread, like dental floss, and I wired it into the top of the ceiling behind these black fans. So it was all blacked out. You couldn't see it. And I would sit on this bench all the way on the other side of the signal bridge. I'd be like 20 feet away from whoever was visiting me, who was looking forward and at the forward part of the ship, sitting in this chair having a cigarette. And I'd go into my storytelling about how there's sea bats out here and you need to watch out for them, bro. And he'd be like, yeah. And I'd just keep going. And then I'd slowly start lowering this thing that I had to a bunch of like pulleys onto their head. And they would be swatting that thing. They would be freaking out. It was hilarious. I wish I had it'd be great viral YouTube, the sea bat attacks. I wish I had that series. But that's how bored you get. You get creative enough to get Seabat pranks on people.
We used to take the, wherever the dummy was that we had that we used for, animal board drills. We'd put a harness on it, put somebody's uniform on it, and then gig up on top of on the flight deck, or whoever's on the fantail watch, and have to look out. Somebody started yelling, I can't take this anymore, man, I'm jumping. Have a couple other guys yelling, no, do it. We throw the dummy over the side. We caught a couple of the new guys a couple times, got them pretty good. But most of the time people were like, yeah, I heard you idiots up there.
That was some funny stuff, man. What do you miss most about being on the ship?
My age.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll take that. My testosterone levels. Yeah.
I miss just the era of my life that it was. Things I learned, the things that I realized that I had been taught growing up weren't necessarily true, and to make my own decisions.
Yeah.
And, educate myself and make my own decisions about things. And that's where in the military, it's kind of a unique thing. You do more of that there than anywhere else.
Right.
You make friendships lifelong friendships with somebody that you would have never thought you had anything in common with, and maybe don't have anything in common with other than the Navy.
Isn't that interesting?
Or a different military branch, right? But you're best friends, and nothing's ever going to change it.
That was Pat for you, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because, he's from Alabama. I'm from Southern California. And we really didn't know. I didn't know anything about people from Alabama, different things. And, I figured everybody was, just for things I would watch on TV, the assumption you make of people. And it turned out to be so completely wrong.
Right.
It was terrible. Pat and I we had the same philosophies about working and everything else together. And so if something needed to get done, they'd tell us, and we got it done because it's just what you did, and it made your life on board the ship so much easier if you just did what needed to be done and do it right the first time and get it over with. Then bitch and complain about it, and have to redo it 2 or 3 times. So
that's true. But then you also had your other friend like Martin. You probably. Martin was more the conservative guy and you were like the big alpha male. It was the total opposite.
Conservative. That's an understatement.
Right. You took the little bookworm out of the library hanging out with the football lineman, and I don't know. It was probably culture shock for him, all crazy like.
There's one story I could tell about Mr. Martin, but I won't. And because I'll tell you later, because it's absolutely hysterical. But I wouldn't do that to the guy. I would not give that information up.
Martin, you're getting more play on this podcast than anybody. I don't know why. And you're probably, you're making the least amount of headlines, but damn, you get a lot of stories going on about you. I don't know how that works.
Well, you figure he's the guy that had to do the least amount of work on the ship.
Yeah.
How hard was it to plug a movie in?
Yeah. VCR. Basically, you're the VCR manager. Yeah. I guess half his job was to look like he had something to do.
Right.
That was the hard part of his job, to look like he's busy so nobody questioned him, like, shouldn't you be doing X, Y, or Z?
Right. And isn't that the wrong chord you just played on your guitar? Because that's more or less what it was for him.
That's what he was doing, just playing guitar up there in the TV room?
Yep. All day long.
The ship's TV station, so nobody came in there. We're doing PMS on the VCR. Preventative maintenance.
His office is right behind yours.
I know. But I don't think we messed with him too much. Like, I'm doing a thing for the captain. He probably came up with some really good excuses to look busy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think he had too much.
I don't know. That was like one of the jobs I actually wanted. Because I'd worked at a TV station. I was like, I want to work as a journalist. But I wanted to work I worked at a real on-base station in Italy that was like on an army base, and we had satellite antennas and all that stuff. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get stationed in Berlin with the Air Force, because I went out to Berlin when I was 15. Mm-hmm. And I never saw so many beautiful women in my life at the nightclubs.
Freaky as bitches too.
It was the ratio was like 10-1 because they had a free university in Berlin. You see, so that was what drew all these young, beautiful women.
Right.
And the nightclubs were just rampant, and we're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I could just work up here. And they have good beer, and they have great nightlife, and they have good food, and they have a lot of concerts. This place is rocking. Let me join the Air Force and work in the broadcast network, you know? Never came to fruition because the Air Force asked me if I'd smoked marijuana. And I told them, yeah, a couple times. That was one time too many.
Right.
You had to go in there like Bill Clinton style. I did not inhale,
Right.
you know?
I did not ejaculate in that girl's mouth.
It kind of worked out like that. You know, they were square as can fucking be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I've always referred to them as the chair force.
they do have a badass special forces element. They do have the PJs.
Yeah.
Those guys go through a longer training than the SEALs, I think.
Good. Well,
Yeah.
the medics too.
They're full blown medics, the pararescue guys. They got to go in behind enemy lines. They got to rescue pilots. They got to rescue all kinds of people. The physical training is just like for a year or something crazy.
Most of the guys in Iraq and Afghanistan that were wounded, have everything to thank these guys for. Because they're beautiful jobs, and they'll go and get you. No matter where you're at.
I think there's a lot of jobs that in the military that you look at and you're like, that's not a cool job. But then even in some of those like crazy jobs, you probably saw some action. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just driving a truck through Iraq. Like Afghanistan.
Did
that was a high risk
dogs?
Profession. Huh?
Did you see War Dogs?
I think I did. Who was in
The
that?
two young guys that got, underbid the other gun companies by so much. And,
Yeah.
and they drove all the way through. And the damn with a major car, whatever, was like, wait a minute. You drove a truck through this area?
Oh, yeah. That was a like the new version of Lord of War. Kind of, it was based on a true story too, though.
Yeah, they both were.
I mean, it seems as though there's always going to be conflict, but I don't know. There's going to be conflict for the rest of our life. That's not going to change.
Oh yeah.
What are you going to do about it? You can go move up to the woods in Oregon. I mean, it's pretty peaceful where you live, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yes.
It's not really a big crime-ridden area or anything.
Not too bad.
Huh. Maybe I'm moving up there now.
Well, there's Southern Oregon University. I don't know if they have what your wife's studying, but it's pretty good school.
She's almost done. I mean, they probably wouldn't have the type of job she does up there. Going to be near the big high-tech hub. And
well, unless you're up in Portland or somewhere.
Portland, yeah. Portland's got a lot of high-tech. Portland was okay, but it rains so much. And when it's sunny, it's the most beautiful place around. But when it's raining, it sucks. And it's like 3 months, people get depressed. Probably get snowbirds from there that, even though it's not snowing all the time, but just the yucky weather. When I went and visited EW2 Griffith up there, there was the, what was it? The Intel plant where they make all the chips.
Yes.
And you know about how it makes its own weather system? Mm-hmm. Because they have so many like cold rooms or whatever operating, it makes its own snowfall, even when it's not snowing in Oregon and it's not in the forecast.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
They say if you don't like the weather, you're wait 5 minutes.
That's how it works?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, what's it like?
It gets hot as hell here down in Wombat.
It's hot.
We were high 110, 12.
How far are you from California? How far are you from California?
28 miles.
That's not bad.
No.
Are the taxes better in Oregon?
We don't have any sales tax. And, as far as, I don't know what every other state's like. I know it's a hell of a lot. Property taxes are a hell of a lot better than California's. You only have to register your car once every 2 years. Or sometimes 4 here now. And registration is one flat fee. Doesn't matter what kind of car you have.
What about, do you have to smog your cars and stuff?
Yeah, up until a certain age.
Huh, interesting. There's I'm from New Hampshire, which is a lot like Oregon. Near Maine.
I've been there.
And yeah, it's the property taxes are higher there, but they don't have income tax or sales tax.
Right.
So you make it up on the property tax. So the houses don't get too expensive, because for like a $200,000 house, you pay more than you pay in $1 million house in taxes in California.
Right.
So it kind of like offsets, but beautiful place. Thought about moving up there.
Yeah.
It does get a bit snowy though.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a snowmobile if you're gonna be living up there. Do you get snowed in where you live?
Last year was the hardest winter that we'd had in 20 at least 25 years. We had Southern Oregon used to call it a normal winter. We finally had last year, and that was the first one. I don't know. And they're predicting we have another winter the same. And the roads were icy for quite a while. A lot of snow built up on the side of the roads. But it's nothing that locks you indoors for any length of time.
Well, what's going on? Oh, you got to still track down that chief, huh? We got to track down that.
She forgot his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's not a lot of military bases in Oregon, is there?
We used to have a Navy Reserve School right here. It closed. It's a charter school now.
Wow. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about that the other day. There's like no military left out here, really. I mean, we got Air Force, not too far away, Fairfield.
Yeah.
And Moffett Field, I guess, could be used in case of emergency. We get the Coast Guard. That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, we got National Guard. So I don't know if there's any, I don't think we have any regular military. Well, I take that back. We have Kingsley Field.
So what's that, Air Force Base?
Yeah. They have a squadron at 15.
Oh, that's cool.
So as soon as they come up, because they come over here to Medford Airport to do stuff all the time. So about once every couple of weeks, I'll hear them flying around. They're not quiet. They go off.
Yeah.
In fact, they had one here for an air show a few years ago. Worked up that and driving around some Navy pilots, search and rescue helicopter from Nevada over here. But they had one of the F-15s here from Kingsley, and it was so hot out that, and those planes were so heavy that it sank into the tarmac.
Wow.
And they tried to, just push the engines forward enough to pop it out of the hole from where it sank from the heat.
Yeah.
And it blew off the doors of a couple of hangars, big hangars, and screwed up a whole bunch of stuff.
Wow.
It was pretty funny. They had to tow it out of there with some rather large vehicles eventually.
Yeah, a couple of fire trucks end to end.
Done some huge tow rigs.
What a trip.
Yeah.
So it was like had cement just locked on the wheel, like,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the asphalt they used on the tarmac, it was designed, the area they had the air show, it was designed for, Cessnas and, maybe, some private jets, but nothing of that size and weight. So when it got hot and the asphalt loosens, it gets warm. It sank down. I know. It was like 6-inch holes.
Well, we got Fleet Week coming up out here.
Yeah.
I might run out and do some podcasting during that week. I'll see what happens.
Yeah, that could be good.
I just made a video for the Hornet that got like close to 6,000 views.
Nice. I actually saw it. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. Well, it's like I just, but of course I put AEC stories in there.
Oh, yeah.
And consequently, my listenership is way up because of that video commercial. It's not what you think that's going to get you hits.
Yep.
You want to get discovered. So, you might, I'll do some advertising, like check out this next coming episode. But I think those people are downloading already. You have to get to the new audience, do some abstract kind of marketing. One thing I'd like to do, and I'm just speaking, this podcast is just some listening, just me and Dave talking. One thing I'd like to do is if I had the money, or somebody eventually backs the podcast, I'd like to do YouTube videos to all military people of, make a killer video commercial that goes over YouTube, when you watch the videos.
Right.
Just have the podcast, have all the different characters, have all the Navy films and clips, boom. Make a killer preview. Tune in, AEC stories.
That would be good. That'd be cool.
It's about 20 cents a person though. It's like, so to get 10,000 people to get hip to what you're doing, you get to spend about $2,000. That's kind of how it works. But, I don't know. I may eventually get somebody back in the show, a VA advocate or some military clothing line. I'm not doing this for a profit thing. I just want to get it more exposure. So,
it'd be cool to team up with Matt Best and those guys from, Area 15, Black Rifle Coffee Company, Area 15.
Oh yeah. Those
Article
guys.
15 clothing. One of the two. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, Article 15 clothing.
He's got some great videos. He's very entertaining.
The ones that he does where he does them for, each branch, is Rangers Against SEALs or, the different things. Those are funny. And then the ones where it was liberals against the military, I guess. That one is hysterical.
He's a smart guy. He just worked the angles. But all these guys want to sell coffee or a t-shirt,
Right. Yeah.
And that's the podcast business. It's the coffee t-shirt game.
Right. Well, and eventually this trend will die down, but they cashed in at the right time.
That's hot for a minute.
Good for them.
There's I don't know any certain t-shirt. Look at Affliction. They went out of business.
Yeah.
Anything else you could think of? What about the guy that made the tattoos? He was real popular, Ed Hardy. Certain brands, they're there for a minute, but they're a flash in the pan.
Right.
I don't know. It's cool to support the show. If you make a cool shirt that people like to wear, fantastic. Who knows? We may do something one day, but I'm just trying to make a good show that people like to listen to and let the passion lead and whatever else follows,
I would proudly display and talk about a company that would like to fund something like that. If they made a product that was good, I'd tell everybody, I'd wear it and give them as much support as I could.
I would too. It would have to be a good product. I'm not just going to do that for anything that's BS. Like, I'm
hard on clothes. I always have been. I always will be. So if it falls apart or shrinks too much or just fades right out, it's a piece of crap. And I'll tell you, it was just crap. But you make
there's some companies that make crappy material. They don't pick even good quality material. It doesn't stretch, doesn't wick. It shrinks when you wear it. All of a sudden, your belly's sticking halfway out. It becomes a half C t-shirt. Remember when guys
stand on your gut?
Remember when guys used to back when we were younger, they would wear those half t-shirts. I was like, what is that with the? Remember that?
When I was in high school, everybody was doing that. We actually had half t-shirts to make up for football to wear on our pads. So everybody just ended up just wearing them.
Yeah, it became like a fashion trend. It's like you're the cool guy with long hair and your half C t-shirt and your jogging shorts where your package could fall out.
You go see guys wearing jeans with the front's so shiny from rubbing your hands on them, and wearing a white t-shirt with a cigarette pack over the sleeve either.
You're talking the greaser style.
That was the 50s.
Yeah, you know what though? We'll probably see a repeat of everything right now. The
hippies is hot still.
Right now, the hipster Shaggy from Scooby-Doo look is hot, I guess, for youngsters. It's Shaggy. Hey, Scooby. That's the look. Hey, whatever. It's popular culture. I don't dictate it, man.
Tell my daughter. My daughter just took her dreadlocks off. Thank God.
Well, when we were young, I remember old people condemning us, going, "You wear tight jeans and you have long hair. You're the devil." We were
actually, I didn't get too bad because I used to get my hair cut at the base.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like one of them junior military guys. I already know what I'm going to do for a job. Going to warm up now.
It wasn't that I already knew. I had already been told.
Yeah.
Not per se, you were going to do this or else. It was expected, and it was just the right thing to do. So,
I had some Army guys trying to recruit me to be a Ranger. And when I was in high school, because I just used to get in brawls with those guys. And I was like, yeah. Tell my daddy, your son would be good at this. He likes to fight. He's combative. It'd be good culture. And I'm like, and you know, the thing is with the Army, there was a lot of cool aspects of the Army growing up on it. But for me, I was always in trouble as a kid. So I always had the Army MPs and the CID after me.
Oh, gee.
Because I was like, he's smoking.
Right?
Well, the Navy never messed with me as bad. I had my own friggin' bosses to look after me like that. They were my police force. I was like, you couldn't escape it. You know what I mean? You slept in the same damn room with them. You went to work with them anywhere you went. That's why when you get off the ship, you wanted to get hammered because you just wanted to decompress. Mm-hmm. The tension never really wore down. You were always under watchful eyes, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was redundant, you know?
Yeah, you couldn't go anywhere, do anything. Everybody knew. But then again, if you were a bosun's mate, some of your leaders were the ones that were committing more offenses than the younger guys.
Yeah, some of your bosses were some real leaders, right?
Oh, yeah. You have certain senior chiefs that would climb up when you're dry dock in that foreign country. They'd climb up the wrong tower, you know. They climb up the one that was supplying all the power. Well, there was no deck going across it, so you couldn't get to the ship. And you would be so intoxicated that you couldn't get back down under any circumstance. And he would sit there and scream at you to come get him. And it's like that because you were...
What kind of tower is this? What kind of tower?
Remember the ones that they just put next to the ship and, you know, it was like a zigzag pattern of stairs that go up. So,
okay.
You go over, across the quarter deck. Get on board? Well, they had one for just for people to go up and down. And then they'd have another one that they ran all the power and supply lines up.
Oh, so he would have the power one and he thought it was the quarter deck one. Oh, my God. Twice. He's like, God darn, they keep moving the stairwell.
Put
these big black rubber snakes on the stairs.
I remember because I was in his duty section. You know, he was my duty leader. And I remember distinctly before two different cruises. Well, on our duty days, especially when it was duty day only for the ship, everybody else was off unless you had duty. I remember being given the keys to a vehicle that would be parked down, at the bottom on the pier, and being told to get somebody else to carry up all of the cases of Listerine, take them all up to the chief's mess.
Really?
Well, who needs 20 cases of Listerine?
I thought it was a couple of bottles was the big thing.
No.
How many cases?
I think we took 20 cases at one time, but that was all their booze for the entire cruise. And you know what, though? If you were a chief, you had it coming. You earned it.
So the chiefs, they knew how to make cocktails out of Listerine. I mean, today we get people talking about drank some kind of orange, mixing cough medicine with something or other, right? Some kind of cough medicine, alcohol, Robitussin cocktails. I don't know.
Fresh breath and no germs made Chief happy men.
I mean, did you ever get the insight into this? How to drink a Listerine cocktail? What did they mix it with? Bug juice? How did they kill that flavor?
It wasn't Listerine.
Huh?
It wasn't really Listerine. It was just in Listerine bottles.
Oh, shit. I thought they were drinking the Listerine. No, look how naive I am. 30 years later, I thought they were making Listerine cocktails.
Shit, no. Yeah, I mean, there's alcohol in Listerine, but not this kind of alcohol. You know, if you look, some bourbons, some scotches, some tequilas, all look pretty much the same color. So,
Chivas Regal was the Listerine colored drink.
Right. Yeah. Now, I 100% that was in there. I mean, not 100%, 99.9%, yeah. But I can't be definitive.
Well, even if it was Listerine, you could still get creative with that. I'm going to look that up while we're talking. What's the alcohol content in Listerine?
It used to be a lot higher than it is now. I know people that were alcoholics or having alcohol, living with them would have to. That was one of the things that the person went through rehab. They would tell you to move from the house. Any kind of mouthwash, at all.
Yeah, and my wife was telling me in Russia they used to drink a certain cologne.
Yeah.
Well, dude, check this out. How much do you think is in it? What's the proof? What's the percentage?
I'm going to say like 2%.
No, 26%. 54 proof Listerine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you get drunk off Listerine? Here's the next question.
Tell you not to drink. Don't swallow this because they only say that because they don't want people drinking it. Drunk. That's real prevalent up in Alaska also. With the different, most villages are dry. They have alcohol. So they used to, there's a whole list of things you can't get in the villages up there because it has alcohol in it. And they will drink it. Hairsprays, all kinds of weird shit.
Yeah, I mean, wait. Listerine, which is sold in a number of countries worldwide, contains 26.9% alcohol, making it more potent than beer and some wines and liquors. Mm-hmm. Because of high alcohol, it's not uncommon for addicts to consume large quantities with regular where alcoholic beverages are difficult to find. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane.
Hey man, if somebody's an addict, no matter what it is, what their choice is.
Talk about creativity.
Yeah, they're going to get it any way they can.
Yeah, it's silly. When I would show up to the ship, you'd have that horrible alcohol breath because you drank all night, you didn't get any sleep, or you slept 1 hour, and you reek of alcohol worse than you did before you fell asleep. Right? I would drink mouthwash to I thought it would coat my breath a little better than just rinsing. So I was just making it worse.
Balancing yourself out.
I'm just talking about a swallow. I wasn't trying to get drunk.
Oh, yeah. Just need that little extra oomph to get you over the hump there.
No reason to fill the Listerine with anything else but Listerine, brother. Yeah. 54 proof cheap liquor. Yep. Oh my gosh. There was dudes that just sat on there and, oh my gosh. That's insane.
Every so often, bottles of alcohol would disappear from medical.
Really?
That grain, 100%, grain alcohol up there.
Oh, you're talking that 190, whatever, right?
That was like Everclear,
Oh my gosh. I used to drink that when I was a kid.
I lit my barbecue with it a couple times.
That's insane. Let me see if there's a Listerine cocktail while we're talking, because there probably is.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Alcoholism was rampant.
Oh, yeah.
Listerine cocktails?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Was there a lot?
I'm looking at pictures of it. People are making cocktails with Listerine. What are they doing? What are they mixing here? They got limes. Oh my gosh. Vinegar? What? Listerine and Purell? No. Oh God.
Dude,
Talk about
Purell shampoo used to be the best thing to get paint off your skin.
Right?
You just rub it right on it, come right off.
Wow. Some of the Navy tricks there, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see if there's, I'm like looking this up, right? I'm going, what do we got here? How to smuggle alcohol on a cruise ship, tipsy bartender. Listerine and vodka make a nice cocktail to forget you. What? Hand sanitizer, mouthwash cocktails could be deadly news. Oh my gosh. How to drink Listerine? How to
a bottle or a cup?
How to Italians? Let's see what this is. I don't know. This is the great science that we're revealing here. I mean, I was a heavy drinker.
I apologize to any struggling alcoholics.
Yeah.
This is not okay to do. Please don't do this at all. Just because we're idiots doesn't mean you have to be an asshole too.
That's true.
That's right.
Well, this was, because the Navy, I mean, once I went to sea, I was sober. I didn't look for anything. Some guys look for the hookup. I was like, why feed the beast? I'm just going to get sober and I'm going to work out. I like to work out and I like to drink equally. So I don't know.
You got to do one when you can't do the others.
How to drink Fernet Branca. Oh, this is some. Oh my gosh, dude. I don't miss getting drunk and having hangovers. I thought I would keep partying when I was younger. I was sure of it. And now I don't. It's not even there.
Dude, I'm afraid of being hungover.
Yeah, it's not attractive to me as it once was.
Oh, God. I just, pounding head and, tastes like a fucking donut shit in your mouth feeling in the morning.
Oh, you remember Shipboard Liberty?
Yeah.
Shipboard Liberty. They said, go take your paycheck, throw it over to the side, bang your head real hard against a stanchion or something, get a headache, put a dirty sock in your mouth and go to sleep. Next morning you wake up, your breath smells like shit, you're broke, and you have a headache and don't remember anything, right? That was the same thing as going out and drinking.
I remember being so bad at quarters in the morning sometimes. I remember yelling at Chief Cheesy one time. My shirt wasn't tucked in, it one button halfway up. My boots weren't tied on. And I'm swaying in circles so bad. I'm so fucking drunk. I remember screaming at him, shut the fuck up and let me sit down before I fall down.
Right?
And he kept talking about nothing. That's all he ever talked about was nothing.
That was like, wait a second, who's my fearless leader here? Like when you were young and you'd get an LPO. I mean, my LPOs were pretty damn squared away. They were pretty knowledgeable and worldly. But once in a while you'd run into a guy, whether you were sent out on a different detail or something. You're like, who's at the steering wheel here? This guy's obviously a clown dog.
Right.
This guy doesn't know what's up. And when one of those guys would have come across a bunch of young guys that are like, this dude's full of it, man. Let's not listen to anything he suggests. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shit. He knew he was killed.
Well, what, here's another strange duty I never had, but I guess you had to be like a first class or something. You had to be the mess deck master at arms.
No. You got that job. Well, I remember there was two different mess deck master arms. BM1 Whaley and then MS1 and OS1 Wood.
Okay.
I know why Woods was sent there. I don't know why Whaley did. I think just because he was old and didn't want to do anything else. I know why Woods was there because he and everybody else in the operations department did not get along. They did not like him for whatever reason. I never worked with the man other than, that's a good time. So I don't know what he was like, on station. But he was basically banned from going into CIC.
Really?
Yep.
So was that some sort of punishment? Like, we're going to put you with this? Well, I can't see, like, going home, tell my wife, what do you do for, what's your job at work, honey? Well, I'm the policeman of the cooking duty boys.
I make sure they wash the trays.
What if that guy doesn't wash a tray? I take him aside. I show him this thing. I say, listen, you see this Liberty card? You're not going to get it. I mean, I yell at these guys. I'm in control, honey. This is management, okay? I'm in charge of somebody.
He would threaten you and threaten you. And it's like, really? There's not shit you can do. Whoa, you're going to make it so I don't eat on time? Oh, sorry.
Well, mess cooking was probably one of the most miserable duties, but it had the greatest liberty, but it didn't really, you would just be better off going straight to bed because it was a 16 on, 8 off kind of deal.
You remember Conley?
Conley, yeah.
He was from England. He was a captain's cook for a long time.
Yeah, was he MS1, Conley?
Well, he was at one time.
Oh, did he get defrocked?
He was MSSN by the time he got out.
What did he get busted for?
Alcohol. Over and over and over. He was an asshole drunk,
Oh, God.
But
so he was a bad version of that one cook on the cooking show that's all buff that cooked for the president?
I guess.
That guy?
I haven't seen that one, no.
You haven't seen this? There's that guy, it's like Iron Chef or something. This guy that's like, it's a cooking show. He's a totally former military guy. He's all buff and he's like super like a drill instructor, but he's British and he's got attitude. Yeah. But he's the polar opposite of this guy. Conley's like, hello, Captain. I've made you donuts. I'm going to have another soft drink over here. Oh, my gosh. A drunk British first-class cook in the American Navy.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Well, we hosted an English destroyer. They came over for a while and we took the guys out. And we played softball with them. We took them out pizza and beer one night. I'll tell you what, I've never seen anybody drink like this in my life. These guys would drink until they puked on the empty pizza pan tray, and then they drink some more.
Yeah, they're hardcore, dude. I mean, they were allowed to have alcohol in their ship. We weren't.
They just walked over to the refrigerator in their brewing department and grabbed one. And they also still had Chinese laundries on board.
Really?
Yeah, they literally had Chinese guys doing the laundry, and they folded your, individual laundry, wrapped it in paper, tied it with string, put it on your rack for you. And then they were paid by you tipping them, I guess, is how they said it.
Really?
Yeah. So it was almost like a contract type deal, They contracted laundry services on board their boats.
How interesting is that?
It's different.
So, but they were allowed 2 pints a day, I think. That was the supposed legal limit. I'm sure it gets,
They're
surpassed.
Two good sized cans.
That's, and we were out at sea. We're out in the middle of the war. They're drinking beer. We're not. What a trip. We have a couple sneaky, dirty guys chugging Listerine in the fantail. This is becoming a pretty funny podcast now that I'm thinking about all this.
If you notice, people weren't invited to the chief's mess very often. And if you were, you usually met the chief right at the door.
Right.
But you didn't go inside. The chief's mess and their lounge was kind of a sacred place. And like I said, if you were a chief, chief, senior chief, master chief, whatever, you earned it. And that's and then you have your warrant officer. My grandpa always told me that you get the best of both worlds. You get the best of the enlisted world, and you get the best of the officer by being a warrant officer. And Richard Williams, who was he was the first division. He got out and then came back in as a warrant officer, and then he just recently
he was in deck with you. He was enlisted, man. He became a warrant officer. Yeah,
he just recently retired.
Before,
and that was great seeing that. I know Don Rattel from Gunner's Mates. He's a chief. I don't know if he got out recently or still in, but I mean he's probably hired. He's probably a senior chief by now. But I saw the pictures of him.
Well, how about Wesley King? He was in deck when you were there. He was a Seaman King. He became he retired as senior chief.
Really? What division was he in?
He was there in deck. Well, he was mess cooking with me.
Was he a little short guy, dark black hair?
No, he was kind of a wiry, kind of taller black guy, probably like 6 feet tall.
Okay, that King. All right, now I know you're Yeah. Okay. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he retired as senior chief. What a trip, huh?
Yeah, I know Ricky Brooks made, I don't know what he is now, but he was my first class. I know he was chief. He made chief.
A lot of these guys, well, back at that time, all the chaos and the partying and the wild stuff and the youth, just youth, you didn't know these guys would all mature into like highly skilled men, and they'd eventually just grab the reins and pull themselves up the ranks and start teaching the next generations, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a lot of guys that you would think that, number one, I would say they wouldn't have even stayed in, and then at some point, everybody hits almost everybody. But hits a maturity level.
They were more Navy than you and me. Are we kidding?
Oh yeah, they were. And I honestly, I kicked myself in the ass every day for not staying in. Dumbest thing I ever did was get out.
It's funny. It all seemed unobtainable when you're on a ship. Like, how am I going to take college courses? These are only 2 classes, 2 one-on-one classes. That won't really count towards my education. Why bother taking this underway? I just want to go watch the ship's movies and the berthing. I just want to go have a smoke on the fantail. I want to eat mid-rats. I want to play cards with the guys, whatever. I want to go work out. That was like your options of entertainment. Or you could take the college classes. And I didn't feel that the college classes were enough. But also, like, you think when you're stationed on a ship, you look at time differently when you're a young man.
Yes.
Or a young woman, because we get women on board. It's like, you just look at it like that's impossible. I'll never get it done. I'll be 24. I'll be getting my degree. But really, you're young. You don't realize you have a lot more time, and it's a lot more doable than you think. So as far as the degree, it seemed like, I don't know where I wore this on my sleeve. Like, oh, I must not be smart enough to do college because I'm an enlisted man in the military. But the truth is, I would have smoked college. I went to college for a little bit. It was easy. After dealing with all the crap I dealt with in the military, It was so easy. Like, you guys are complaining about this. This is easy. Yep. All I got to do is pass this test. Really?
Yeah. I just read an article about that, about, former military people going back to school, how much better they do than other people,
Right.
that weren't, because they're used to sitting down and focusing now and taking orders, and following instructions. And they have, they've learned to have that self-motivation and drive. So
well, there's a lot of ways to go to college, right? There's a lot of ways. Like, you could go to college as the party frat guy that goes to the super cool party school. Yeah, the Van Wilder version. Yeah. You're drinking for the first time. You're having sex for the first time. You're messing with girls and guys and whatever. Or you could go in the totally A student with a mission. I'm going to be a PhD. I'm going to be a chief engineer. I'm going to be a surgeon, whatever, right, and just bow your head down for 12, 14 years and trudge along.
Right.
Or you could be the military guy that goes back after all that. And you're like, I need to get paid. I've been getting paid. I've been a grown up for a while. I've been working on my job. I need to hurry up and finish this so I can get a better job.
Yeah. Doing and living, things that most people only ever see or read about.
Well, I think that if you said, what's your choice? Travel the world, see the world, or go to college? I think travel the world was more educational. I think that going to college, you're going to learn the technical aspects of something if you need to learn surgery or computer programming or something. But seeing the world opens your mind into opportunities and how the world works.
Yeah, well, there's Life Smart and then there's Book Smart.
Yeah, that's true.
You can only gain so much knowledge out of a book.
EQ and IQ.
Life changes in a blink of an eye. So you've got to be able to adapt really fast. Yeah. So, that's all learned things.
Did you try to get your kids to join the military?
I just left it up to them. If they wanted to.
It might have been more of a thing if they were like you were living in San Diego near the pier or something.
Yeah, probably.
And they're like, we're in Oregon. We've adapted to Oregon. It's all good.
Right.
If my daughter ends up wanting to join the military, I'm like, sure, go ahead, honey. It's up to her. But I don't know. I felt like my parents weren't pushing me to join.
Right.
Not at all. My dad had been a Marine officer. He wasn't like, you're going to be a Marine or anything. There's a lot of guys that I ran into that their dad was riding them to become part of the military.
What I've noticed with most guys in the Marines, children of Marines, is they're either as gung-ho as their parent, or they are so far the opposite direction. It's not even funny.
Right. Well, were you dealing with the great Santini? You know what I mean? Remember that movie?
Yeah.
The over alpha crazy dad that was in their face all the time. Like he was trying to treat them like they were in the military. There was, even on the Army base, there were some kids that would deal with that,
Yeah.
Where their dad would come home and wouldn't take off his Army hat and become dad.
Right.
He's still in the Army.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Are you going to take any, have you ever taken any Tiger cruises? Have you ever looked into that?
No, I haven't. Like I said, there used to be a reserve center here.
Yeah.
And one of the guy, Ashland Police Department, he's retired now. He was an officer. And I was going to go back in the reserves, but he's like, they're closing the reserve center. And I forget where the hell they had to go, for the next, to go do anything. It was just so incredibly inconvenient for anybody that a lot of guys just quit doing it here.
You want to be in the reserves? It's a 9-hour drive.
Pretty much, yeah. I think it was. I think they had to go to Washington because Portland doesn't have a base. They have Fleet Week, during the Rose Festival and everything up there, but they don't have. There's not an actual base there, so you have to go across the bridge into Washington.
Did you ever pull in to Oregon with the ship?
No.
We did after Desert Storm. We pulled in for Fleet Week. It was cool.
Right.
They had a jazz fest and all that. Yeah. It was beautiful. I really liked it. We went to the Mount Hood, tried to go skiing, but they were just turning off the ski slopes. It was,
yeah.
We went water skiing in the day, me and some gunners mates, and we tried to go snow skiing at night.
Yeah.
And
that was like growing up in Long Beach. We could go up to Big Bear and ski, snow ski or sled or whatever, and then go back and surf at night, or vice versa.
Before the traffic. Now that's probably physically impossible unless you get a chopper.
So. Yeah.
And now, I mean, I always go to Orange County, Southern Cal, and go, man, I could live here. And then I get in the traffic. Let's say I was going to Disneyland with the family or something. I'm like, okay, it's 3 miles, but it's only a 80-minute drive. And that just stifles you. You're like, okay, well, maybe if I lived over here in Newport Beach, well, I'm not that rich. So that's not going to happen, right?
Right.
I know. I like it down there. When's the last time you've been to SoCal?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Really?
Yeah, it's been 10, 15 years. Probably.
You still get relatives and stuff down there or friends or?
I got a couple friends down there. Most of them have moved. All my relatives are gone from down there. So.
Yeah, a lot of Californians moved away, just like the shipmates. Did you see the map that I made of all the shipmates?
Yeah, I did. I put one on it.
That was pretty neat, huh?
Yeah, it was.
We totally get dispersed, all 50 states and even outside of other countries, too.
Yeah.
Like I said, Zemer's over in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets to be on every podcast because he's in Italy. We just say, Zemer's in Italy, man. You know?
Nobody knows what he's doing.
No, but yeah, I have an idea, but it's a cool place. It's maybe he's drinking Listerine. Zemer, are you drinking Listerine in Italy? I hope not. They got too much good Sambuca to want to mess with Listerine. Are you kidding? Yeah. It must, I can imagine it would have been nice to get a Department of Defense job after the military. I just didn't think about it.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. They're always there, man. It's always a possibility. But it's been a good show today. I think we'll wrap it up. We've had a long weekend, and I appreciate you coming back. I know you were dealing with some.
Yeah, they had a rough couple
of days there. So
we forgot to talk about the one thing.
Oh, okay.
The camp.
The camp. Okay.
We need to take a poll. We need to take a poll. We need people's input on this, if you would do this or not. I will turn this one over to Len because it's his idea, but you'd all just be coming to my neck of the woods to do it.
Yeah, this one I will bring up. I got to put a poll out there or something, but not just for the Navy, for people. I mean, I want to have an 80s camp up in the woods with hiking and fishing and all kinds of things other than the internet. No cell phones, no computers. We'll have entertainment. We'll have old stuff like record players and cassette players and boom boxes with tapes.
Check out a Walkman or a disc.
Or a Discman, yeah. But no smartphones, no computers. You just detoxify yourself. I realize that because Dave and I talked about when we were young, we were hardly ever in the house. And now we realize that we're older. We're like houseplants. And you got to live a little bit more. You got to get out in the fresh air. You got to get engaged with the planet while it's still here. Because I feel like people are becoming integrated with the technology. There's not much of a separation anymore, Right.
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah, you can't do anything.
I mean, what about you have kids. How much are they active in versus the computer world?
Oh, my son works, all day long. But, everything he does is always, we forced our kids, not force them, but we encouraged them to actually go out and play when they were younger. And they only were allowed so much Xbox time or, online time per day.
Once we find out.
And we even made them wait, longer than all their friends before we even got one right home. Just because I didn't want them to be that kid, that overweight kid with diabetes at 12 years old. And they were both extremely active kids.
I think that makes a big difference. But
it does.
If you guys are interested in the 80s camp, we're thinking about doing it in Oregon. I still got to plan it out.
Right. If it's something that sounds appealing to you.
Yeah.
There's no plans of what. We still have to make some kind of a curriculum type thing or, when, where, and how, and what.
We're just trying to put our feelers out there to see what kind of people would show interest. If you listen to the podcast and kind of have a similar mindset, this might be something for you. We may get no emails, we may get a ton, but we're curious to see what other people think about this. That's where I'm coming from. But we'll be doing another podcast soon, and hopefully, Dave, you're feeling a little better then.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I thank you for being on this podcast, and I
appreciate it. I've enjoyed it.
Check us out on Facebook at AEC Stories and also at aecstories.podbean.com for our podcast. But we're definitely growing. We're over 8,000 downloads.
Wow.
And we want to get more.
Yep. Find me on Facebook. Send me a message.
Look up Dave Teresi on Facebook.
Yep. And
reach out.
Be more than happy to answer any questions you have.
For sure.
Stay safe.
Thank you, people.
Gave you too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it hurts as I bleed for you, cry for you. Let me bleed as I bleed for you, cry for you. Let me bleed. Let me all of the pain seems to follow like a shadow, dark and cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do.